Good evening, friends. How are you? Hope you all are doing good. So, friends, we are now moving towards the end of the 7th standard NCERT chapter. Today, we are going to see the 8th chapter of the NCERT. Before that, let us discuss the yesterday's question about comparison between road transport, rail transport, water transport, and air transport. So, friends, as we have seen yesterday, the human environment and its various components. So transport is one of the important component of the human environment. So when the question comes about comparison, you should write, uh, you should know little detailed between the various modes of transportation. We should know the overall length of the highways, overall length of the railway network, number of airports, number of waterways, important waterways, current projects which are going on, government schemes regarding road, railways, and highways, also schemes like Udan for the airways. Okay, so in this way, you need to know about all these things to write the answer. This type of question can be asked in a paper 3 or paper 1. Okay. So, first point you should write about the definition of transport and the condition of transport in India and how it was and how it is changing, how competitiveness between the various modes of transport is changing, how road and rail network were very cheap before a few years back. Now they are becoming costly slowly. So why they are becoming costly? Why they are becoming cheap? Why they were costly? How government interventions are playing the role? How international interventions, how private players are changing the role, and how people are benefiting out of that. In what sense? In terms of freight charges, in terms of people carrying the people. Okay, these we are all benefiting from the different types of transportations. Okay, industries are benefiting, common individuals are benefiting. Okay, so international export also is getting cheaper because of the projects like North South Transit Corridor, which is using multimodal way of transport. So slowly, this type of chapters are going to come more and more, and you have to use these chapters in mains examination much frequently. So most of you have written the answer, but since it is a 7th standard NCERT, I can understand you guys don't know much about it. So as we proceed, we must read chapters from Economic Survey, we must read chapters from India Yearbook. They will help you to write this type of answers in a more dynamic way. Okay. So hope slowly you guys improve upon your answer. Okay. So now today we are going to see the eighth chapter of NCERT. Okay. I think there are 9 or 10 chapter over there, so hardly 1 or 2 chapters have been remained. Okay. So 8th chapter is about human environment interaction, specifically in tropical and subtropical regions. So how humans are interacting with the surrounding environment, specifically in the tropical and subtropical region, that we are going to see. So when we say tropical region, so what is a tropical region that we have seen? So definitely this is the globe. So 23 and half north, 23 and half south. Okay. So here and here, and at the center you have equator. Okay. So this is we called as a tropical region. Subtropical region is region beyond tropical region up till up till we can say 60 degrees, up till Arctic Circle, 66 and half. Okay. So this is tropical and subtropical region. So how people are dealing with the surrounding climate in tropical and subtropical region, that we are going to look into this chapter. Okay. So first thing that comes in the tropical region, a very important basin is called Amazon basin. We know that Amazon is the largest river in terms of volume. Okay. So Amazon river is a part of South America. It is also the forest in the Amazon river is also known as lungs of the world, that we have seen yesterday in environment topic. Okay. So this Amazon river, this equator passes through this Amazon river, or Amazon basin is formed around this equator. So friends, we had seen that equator is the region which get highest amount of sunlight and highest amount of rainfall. So here we have very dense forest. So 10 degrees north and 10 degrees south, we have very dense forest around the Amazon river. Okay. So this river flows through Brazil, flows through Bolivia, Colombia, Peru, okay, Venezuela. These are the countries through this Amazon river and its tributaries are flowing. Okay, so what happened when Spanish people came in this region? They tried to overtake this region. So a fierce tribe, okay, which had some women population as well, they attacked these people with bow and arrow. They were wearing headgears, they were wearing grass skirts and all. So they were so fierce that these Spanish people remember the story of a Roman Empire women fighter called as Amazon. So, depending on those women fighters, they name this region as Amazon Basin. Okay, so this Amazon is a very important for the world, and currently you might have seen most of the Amazon forest in the last year was burned out. It was cleared. There is a very famous song of Michael Jackson. If you heard the Earth song, which has been shot in the Amazon River and depicts the deforestation issues of the Amazon River. If you haven't seen the Earth song, you must see. It's one of the world famous song of Michael Jackson. Okay, so this Amazon basin, let us understand how people live in the Amazon basin. As you guys know, wherever we are living, we need to adapt ourselves to the surrounding areas. So people living here, the life is not very easy as they are going to deal with lots of animals, the difficult forest. Forest is so thick that even you cannot enter into the forest. It's complete dark because canopies are so thick. Sunlight cannot reach up to the ground. So the plants which can grow in the shadow, they will only grow like creepers and all. They will grow over here. So life is very difficult over here. So since it is on the equator, day times are very hot and humid. So daytime, because of this hot and humidness, every evening, okay, there will be rainfall. So almost there is a daily rainfall in this region. Okay. So temperatures are very high during the daytime. Night time though temperatures are not very high, but because of the high humidity, it is always very humid type of atmosphere over there. Okay. So this forest is called as a rainforest or as a very famous Amazon rainforest. So here very famous birds because it's very rich in biodiversity. There are very famous birds like toucans, hummingbirds, birds of paradise can be seen over here. There are you might have heard about the fishes called as piranhas. So many movies have come, horror movies about piranhas. They are not as horror they are shown in the movies. Even people swim in the rivers filled with the piranhas. Okay, but they don't do anything to the living creatures. Generally, dead creatures they will attack and they will eat them. So flesh-eating piranhas are there. Okay. Also, there are plants like bromeliads. So you can see this on your screen, bromeliads. So these bromeliads are very famous for storing water in it will form a bowl of a leaf, okay, and the water will be stored over there. So there are so many species of frogs. They will lay their eggs in this bromeliad water, and their tadpoles will come out, and then they will go away after they are grown properly. So these are the very interesting things which happen in the Amazon rainforest. Okay, so guys, in this way, this Amazon rainforest is a very we can say challenging type of atmosphere, beautiful for the tourist, but people living there it is very challenging. So how the tribes in the Amazon live over there? So as we know, they are very fierce tribes. So what do they eat? Okay, so generally these people are hunter gatherers. They do hunting and gathering, but always it is very uncertain. Hunting and gathering are very uncertain. You never know whether you are going to hunt today or not. You are going to get anything today or not. Okay, so these people simultaneously they grow potatoes, they grow pineapple, they grow tapiocas. Okay, they also do the slash and burn type of agriculture. What is slash and burn type of agriculture? It is also practiced in India's northeast region. So what the people do over here, they cut the forest, they burn the forest, they empty the forest, so huge track of land, very fertile track of land is available to them. Then they will grow plants over they will grow crops over there, so they will do the agriculture. So after like 10 to 15 years, this land is going to become again unfertile, so they will again move to the some another area, they will clear the forest, again they will start doing the agriculture there. By the time again new forest will grow where the on the previous land. Okay, so they grow various food, specifically staple food like manioc. Okay, so this is a manioc. Okay, so they will grow this manioc is also known as cassava. So they will grind these, they will take juice out of that, they will store it, and so many things they do with this manioc or cassava. They also grow nowadays. They are also growing coffee, maize, and cocoa. So all the chocolates that we are eating, dairy milk and all, so that's all mostly coming from Africa and South America. Okay, so as we know, the conditions are very difficult to live over there. So generally, some tribes live on the treetops. Some tribes they built beehive-shaped houses. Okay. Some tribes they built these slanting roof apartment type of houses. So these are known as malokas. So these malokas they are the slanting roof type of apartment type of houses. Inside they might have some floors as well. Okay, so you can see so beautiful these malokas. Very the shape is geometrically so perfect. They don't know much. They haven't learned engineering, but still this they are building so geometrically perfect houses. They are called as malokas. Okay, so nowadays the in 70s we created Trans Amazon highways. Okay, so for trading purposes, to make this region accessible, to collect the natural resources over there, so these trans Amazon highways have been made over there. And nowadays, because developmental activities are been taking place, the timber is very costly, the land is very costly over there, so they are clearing more and more forest. Mafias are creating more and more forest. Recently, huge tracts of forest have been cleared, and they are clearing this from since long time. It is said that with this speed, in next 10 to 15 years, there won't be any Amazon forest. Okay, so survival of this forest is very very important. Okay, so next important topic in is Ganga Brahmaputra basin. Now, just we have seen the Amazon basin. This is also in the tropical and subtropical, little bit subtropical region. Ganga Brahmaputra basin is also part of tropical region. Okay, it does not. Sorry, it is part of tropical and subtropical region. It is maximum present in the subtropical region beyond the 23 degrees. This is Tropic of Cancer. You can see. So beyond that, you have Ganga Brahmaputra basin. Okay, so Ganga Brahmaputra basin is basically the basin made by tributaries of Ganga and Brahmaputra. Okay, between 10 to 30 degrees north latitude. Okay, so these are very. This is a very very important place. Okay, it's very very entire Indian civilization is surviving on the Ganga Brahmaputra. So let us understand how this Ganga Brahmaputra basin people are living over here, and it is supporting the human lifestyle over here. Okay, so first let us understand Ganga Brahmaputra basin extends from Uttarakhand up to the West Bengal to the Assam. Okay, so here you will see different lifestyle in the Uttarakhand. Then as you come to the plains of UP, Bihar, lifestyle of the people are different. Then you go to the Assam, you go to the West Bengal. Again, the life of the people are different. Okay, so alluvial sand is vastly present in this region. So that's why they are very very fertile. Okay, anything can be grown in this Ganga Brahmaputra region, Ganga Brahmaputra plains. So alluvial soil, you can see wheat, sugarcane, potatoes, and so many oil seeds. Anything can be grown in this region. Okay. So as we move from north to the northeast, then you can see bamboo grows in the Brahmaputra region. These tribes are very fond of these bamboos, and if you go to the Assam, if you go to the northeast, these people love bamboos. They will cook in the bamboos, they will make pickles of the bamboo, they will make vegetable of bamboo shoots, they will make houses of the bamboo shoots, they will make cups of the bamboos, and everything is made up of bamboo. They will have clothes of bamboo. So bamboo is very very important. Recently, government of India has allowed people to grow bamboo on the agricultural land. Before that, it was not allowed. It was considered as a forest produce. Okay, so in the northeast, you will see bamboo groves. They are very very famous. As you go to the West Bengal, you will see delta. So delta means what? This is a mouth of the river, where river meets the ocean. Where a triangular shaped land is fertile land is formed, we call it as a delta. So there you will see the mangrove forest. So mangrove forests are very very important in the delta region. As you move little bit upward on the hillside, there you will see coniferous trees. So climate is little cold. So you'll see pine, devdar, fir. These types of coniferous softwood trees you will find on the little bit of higher slopes of the Ganga Brahmaputra plains. Okay, so this is very very important region. Also, this as you go to the West Bengal, you go to the northeast. One of the major food item is fish and rice. So fish and rice is eaten very fondly in this region. So various varieties of rice these people will eat. Various varieties of rice. Okay, you can't even imagine these types of rice they will make. Okay, and fishes like rohu, katla, and hilsa. Hilsa, you know, it's very very famous fish of West Bengal. Very costly and considered as a privilege to eat the hilsa. Okay, so the Bangladeshi Prime Minister, when she came to the India, she used to cook the hilsa fish for Pranab Mukherjee in the Rashtrapati Bhavan by herself. Okay, so hilsa is very very important fish. Okay, so fish and rice, these types of very important food, these people will eat in this region. So this region is also developed by by us. So there are waterways, there are highways, there are road and rail networks are there. Also, this eastern dedicated freight corridor is also being built in this eastern section. Okay, like western dedicated freight corridor, eastern dedicated freight corridor for the rail and road network is being built over there. Also, national water highways are being developed in this region. The famous is Allahabad to Haldia. So Haldia is very important port in the Kolkata. So Allahabad Haldia is a national highway, national waterway number one is being constructed in India. So huge highway, a huge waterway, which is it is being constructed. Okay. So I think first ferry has been taken place by this highway, and now freight transport has started from this highway. Okay. Terrace farming is also very important in this northeast section. Here hills have very steep slope. So there people cannot do farming in the valleys because valleys are very very narrow. So what they do when they have a hill like this, okay, they will cut these hills like this. Okay, so the plain terraces will be formed over here. So they are called as a terrace. Okay, so they will do farming in the terraces. Okay, so when they do the farming in the terraces, so the water will not flow directly from the top of the mountain to the valley. So water will also be saved. Rapid runoff will not happen on the on the mountain. Okay, so this is known as terrace farming. So terrace farming is very very important in the northeast. In Ganga Brahmaputra, you will see this type of fish called as a dolphin, Gangetic River dolphin, or called as a susu. This susu, their eyesight is not developed. Okay, so they have certain waves. They'll emit those waves here and there. Okay, so using this, they will navigate from one place to another place. So in this way, this chapter is talking about some important information which can be asked in your preliminary examination. Okay, so note down this important information in your notebook. Okay, now here there are some important cities in this region of Ganga Brahmaputra plains. These important cities of big civilizations which have been developed over here: Allahabad, Kanpur, Varanasi, Lucknow, Patna, and Kolkata. So more than 10 lakh population is there in these cities. So that's why big cities are developed over here. So almost 25 to 40% of the population of India is staying in this Ganga Brahmaputra basin. That's why it is very very important. Kolkata is very important port over here on the river Hooghly. Okay, Hooghly is one of the distributary of Ganga. So Kolkata is very important port in this region. Okay. So I hope guys you have understood this chapter. So note down all the important points which I have mentioned in the PPTs, which can be asked you in the exam. Now based on this, let us solve some MCQs. Okay. So MCQs, first MCQs is toucans. So toucans are the types of what? Exotic bird in the Amazon river. Manioc is a staple food of Amazon. Okay. Kolkata is located on the Hooghly. Devdars are coniferous trees. Okay. Bengal tigers are found in the delta area. They are found in the West Bengal. West Bengal is a delta area. So they are found in the delta area. Okay. Then there are some match the following questions. Okay. Very important. So let us understand what we can answer first. Cotton textile, Maloka, Pirana, silkworm, Kaziranga. So what is a Maloka? Maloka slanting roof. Piranha is a fish. Kaziranga is in the Assam. Kaziranga is a national park, is in the Assam. Okay. Silkworm, okay, used for the sericulture. So in this way you should answer the questions. So I hope you have understood the entire topic. Very simple, but so many facts. See, in the end of NCRT, you are going to gather so many facts. So revisions are very important. Right now you may feel that, oh, this is very simple, very simple. I don't want to see the video. I can do it at any time. So don't miss the video. Do the chapters every day, because in the end you will gather this many number of facts. So it is very important and very easy to finish these chapters on the day-to-day basis. Okay. So thank you guys. See you tomorrow. We'll see the question at 8 o'clock.